but that's where you really know where you're going. You know, like when you're starting out, you don't know the hurdles and the humps and why we want to do something, why we want to help.
How can we like incorporate, because it's like that Damascus is like so close to like a fingerprint.
You're going to be able to point to each pattern within the steel and say that's Brandon's piece, surrounded by some of Laura's, you know, surrounded by some of mine or whatever.
Gives you 5 picks. Did you go to 6?
Don't get me distracted with bows right now.
6, but I went in the other day and I brought it in. So
I could tell it looked like it did.
Because like I don't have a hell of a lot left.
Oh, that's so magical.
So see how that one pin right there?
Yeah.
So I'll be keeping this shut when we're getting it smoky and dirty here. Let's just say this is like the final block of steel. Let's just see, you can say like 9 pieces. You can say a basket. So his layers are going to go on steel. We have a bunch of layers sitting out here. We turn them, reorient them into Brandon's basket. Let's say we're going to use practice like this. To get it on the face of the blade, you're cutting across it. Right, so now we press down here.
Is that good? Yeah.
You like it?
It's really good.
Today was an awesome day. Forging in my brand new shop, and kind of was like a bit of a celebration having Brandon and Laura here, just because they're taking an interest in something kind of outside their normal craft, and they just kind of dove right in.
The appeal to knife making has always been the fact that you take something that's kind of been cast away or maybe has very little value and you turn it into something beautiful or turn it into something worthwhile.
We talked about maybe trying to forge a blade together or maybe working on one bar of Damascus, but I kind of came up with the idea of having each individual make their own piece of Damascus, but their own individual pattern, much like a fingerprint.
Watching Josh make the jelly roll, seeing a master roll that steel onto itself to make that spiral and have it be so tight. I've never seen it done in person, and it did not disappoint.
You know, the things that we did today, just the learning process. Josh is a fantastic teacher. He's amazing. He's very patient. He has the equipment right on hand. He has 30+ years of know-how. And then Laura's a little bit ahead of me as far as her knife making skills. So I feel like I got a lot of attention on things that I needed and really got to just find my rhythm with it. There was no push for the pace. There was no, hey, slow down, you're going too fast. It was just, I kind of got to feel myself out.
Just to make this steel, we've been out here for hours, and I can't wait to see how it comes out. We really decided that coming together and making this blade, it was going to be so much that was going to go into it that how do you decide what to do with it?
And we just kind of decided last night talking like, let's build a project where we all work on individual pieces and then put it together all in one combination of Damascus for something for greater good, something better than us.
I think because of my 2020 and some of the work that I did with veterans groups, it's very near and dear to me. When we got out here and we were talking about forging knives, maybe we could do something together, maybe we could do some good within that togetherness. So for me, this is very special, and it's a continuation of what I've been doing the last 4 or 5 years. You know, I didn't serve in the military, so I try to choose to serve the veterans, the people that actually serve me, serve this country. You know, I think nobody likes war, but you got to celebrate these men and women that go to combat for us.
I think these days there's a tendency to kind of, you know, focus on the negative and not necessarily take action. And I think that's what's really cool about this whole group of people is we're focusing on positivity. We're focusing on being better humans, better people, helping our craft, helping each other's businesses, helping each other's souls.
We all agreed that there would be no better way than to have it benefit someone. You can't really make a knife like this and keep it for yourself. There's just so much that we're all pouring into it. We felt like it has to have a greater purpose. It has to have a greater cause.
For me, it really hit home a little bit different than I think I expected or the average person might expect. I've seen my life be forged into something good, and that was very metaphorical, but it's what I felt today. It was taking something that really had no shape, really no design to it, and watching Josh, you know, draw the things out on the ground and hearing him talk about certain things and certain patterns that we could put into the blade, and you know, just the fingerprint type aspect of this blade, and every single one of us having our part to make something a little bit different, something unique, but to make something as a whole. Without my friends, I would not have ever found myself moving my life forward. It was because of good friends that pulled me out, and it's because of good friends that we made that blade. So very, very excited for it.
We get affected by the people that come in contact with us, and we, you know, I think we a lot of times reflect that in how we look and how we act. And I think that blade will reflect those fingerprints from all of us. Laura and I have gotten together back here in the knife shop again, in the forge shop. When we left this project off here, about a month ago, Brandon took off and we had the Damascus made, but we just hadn't forged out a blade yet. So Laura's back. We got the blade forged out last night on this knife. And actually at the moment, we've got it ground and Laura's hand sanding it kind of as I speak right now.
There's so much work that is going into this knife. It's crazy. I mean, days and hours from several different people, and the time, skill, experience that's going into this thing. It's really cool to me to think that by raffling it off, we're gonna allow the future owner of this blade to basically have a knife that I would never be able to afford. You can't really put a specific dollar amount on what this blade is worth because there's so much that has gone into it. So being able to raffle it off, we give someone an opportunity to own something that's pretty priceless.
It's just the whole package. It's a collector level, collector scale knife. And whoever ends up with it is really got an artifact or a museum quality piece of work for life. The goal of this knife, we kind of talked back and forth about what we wanted to do, and we all kind of agreed we didn't want to just write a check to an organization. We kind of wanted to try and maybe have a little bit more hands-on, maybe actually have a little more of a hand in maybe helping some people. We all feel super strong about the veterans and some of the veterans' causes. So
really thought it would be pretty amazing to be able to bring veterans out to have a full experience here at Montana Knife Company, and going out, having survival stuff going on, shooting cannons, being able to forge, make knives, make steel, all sorts of cool stuff that we can do here. And visiting this place is so much more than just coming to a shop. It's having an experience, and there's so much here that is so Montana. And being able to be out in the wilderness, being able to shoot a cannon at a mountain is pretty amazing. Doing survival stuff, being out on the land, it's incredible. Getting to cook meat in front of the forge, everything that happens here is pretty magic. So being here, being able to bring people out to share this experience with us, it gives us a whole new purpose to making this blade.
And the really neat thing about knife making and forging is it's something that can actually save these guys' lives, men or women. The cool thing about forging or grinding or making a knife is you really have to focus in and get lost in the project. This can provide a distraction for a guy. It can kind of help you get away from some of the demons that maybe you're fighting. I don't necessarily anticipate the guys that come up here are gonna be full-time knife makers, but maybe they end up deciding they like to forge and they wanna make steak flippers or you know, hooks for their wife's kitchen or something like that. Just as a hobby, something to have that they can do and maybe fill in some of those moments where, you know, they get lost in their thoughts, and this can be a good distraction.
It gives us a whole new purpose to making this blade, because it doesn't just stop at a knife that someone gets to have. It's like the experience continues and it feeds it forward.